Siddha Uchuhu Ayam Tvatkatha Mrishtha Piyusha Nadhyam Manaha Varanaha Klesha Davagni Dagda Trisha Artaha Avagadraha Na Sansmara Davan Nanishkramati Brahma Sampanavad Nahat Siddhauchuhu Ayantvatkata Mristapiyushanadyam Manovarana Kleshadavagni Dagdaha Trisharto Vagadhona Sansmaradavan Nanishkramati Brahma Sampanavanaha Siddhauchuhu Ayantvatkatha Mristapiyushanadhyam Manovarana Kleshadavagni Dagdaha Trisharto Vagadhona Sansmaradavam Nanishkramati Brahma Sampanavanaha Siddhauchuhu Ayantava Katamrita Piyushanaryam Manovarana Klesha Davadagni Dagda Sriarto Vagadho Nasasmaradavam Nanishkramati Brahma Sampanavanaha Siddhauchuhu Ayantvatkatha Mristapiyushanadya Satu Vagaduna Samaradavam Kamu Brahma Sampanavanaha Siddhauchuhu Nava Trisharto Vagadhura Sasmaradava Siddhauchuhu Ayantvatkata Misra Piyushanaryam Vanovarana Klesha Davadagridada Sharto Bhagaduna Sasmaradava Naniramati Brahma Sampanavanaha Ladies? Siddha Uchu Ayam Tvatkata Vista Pushanadya Manovarana Klesha Davagridada Trisarto Bhagaduna Sasmaradava Kanishkramati Brahma Sampana Siddhaha the Siddhas Uchuhu prayed I am this Tvatkatha your pastimes Mrishta pure Piyusha of nectar Nadhyam in the river Manaha of the mind Varanaha the elephant Klesha sufferings Dava Agni by the forest fire Dagdaha burned Trisha thirst Artaha afflicted Avagataha being immersed Nasansmara does not remember Davan the forest fire of the miseries Naniskramati not come out Brahma the absolute Sampanavat like having merged Nahat or translation unpopulated by Srila Prabhupada. The Siddhas played like an elephant that has suffered in a forest fire but can forget all his troubles by entering a river. Our minds, O Lord, always merge in the river, in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes, and they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the Absolute. Purport. This statement is from the Siddhas, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka, where the 8 kinds of material perfection are complete. The residents of Siddhaloka have full control in the 8 kinds of yogic perfection, but from their statement it appears that they are pure devotees. They always merge in the nectarian river of hearing of the pastimes of the Lord. Hearing the pastimes of the Lord is called Krishna Katha. Similarly, there is a statement of Prahlad Maharaj that those who are always merged in the ocean of nectar of the nectar of describing the Lord pastimes are liberated and have not fear of the material condition of life. The Siddhas say that the mind of an ordinary person is full of anxieties. The example is given of the elephant who has suffered in a forest fire and who enters into a river for relief. If persons who are suffering in the forest fire of this material existence will only enter into the nectarian river of the descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord, they will forget all the troubles of the miserable material existence. The Siddhas do not care for fruitive activities, such as performing sacrifice and achieving the good results. They simply merge in the transcendental discussion of the pastime of the Lord. That makes them completely happy, without care for pious or impious activities. For those who are always in Krishna consciousness, there is no need to performing any kind of pious and impious sacrifice or activities. Krishna consciousness is itself complete, for it includes all the process placed in the Vedic scriptures. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitan Dena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namamopistan Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayan Dadati Swapadam Jigam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavari Pastatya Desatarine. Translation. The Siddhas played like an elephant that has suffered in a forest fire but can forget all his trouble by entering a river. Our mind, O Lord, always merge in the nectarian river of your transcendental pastimes, and they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging into the Absolute. Hare Krishna. Please excuse my poor English, but we try to communicate. This verse of this chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining what happened after Lord Shiva and his associate, they had frustrated the offensive attitude of Daksha. And Lord Brahma and all the other demigods, all the other inhabitants of all the universe, they are now offering their praise to please Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana. And now this verse is being said by the Siddhas. The Siddhas, they are one kind of beings that they are perfect. They are yogic Siddhas. They have the perfection of yoga. Usually people who engage in fruitive activities, in karma, rituals, they have goal of bhoga. They want to have material satisfaction in this life or afterlife on the heavenly planets. But then you have the yogis. And then before you have the jnanis, and they look for spiritual knowledge. They want to understand the real nature of the self, the real nature of God, and the real nature of everything that they look for something that is common to all. And then they look for moksha, liberation. But then you have the yogis. And the yogis, they master all different processes of controlling the breath, the body, the mind, to achieve siddhas. Siddhas mean perfection. That's why we can see that not only jnanis, person who look for spiritual knowledge, practice yoga, even the karmis, even the asuras, the demons, practice yoga, like Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was a big yogi. What means have siddha? Means that we control the several centers of energy that is connected to the material elements. Ether, air, fire, water, wind, earth. And then you have to control all the element. This is what siddhas. In this sense, any people, even the most materialistic person who practices this mechanical process of controlling the mind and the different centers of energy in the body, they develop a lot of magic powers. This is siddha, perfections. But the devotee also can use yoga. And Krishna explained in Bhagavad Gita that yoginam api sarvesam, that the bhakta is the highest of the yogis. Because the devotee, he controls his mind. Not to have something like powers, material powers, even to free from the material existence. They just control his mind to fix in Krishna. We can see the process of meditation and the process of yogi can be used by the karmis, the materialists, can be used by jnanis, and also can be used by the devotees. And this kind of beings, this is called siddhas, is the person that they attain the perfection of complete control of all the yoga process. That's why they're perfect. And they are not attached to the activities of karmakanda. Karmakanda rituals means that you follow all the different yagas, the different sacrifice to make your material life perfect in this existence, and then after that you go to the heavenly planet, and then that's why most of the Vedic religion based on the sacrifice, on the Veda and the Brahmanas is concerned about that. Is this kind of familiar rituals that you should worship your forefathers, and you yourself should have one good son, and have all this because you need to be sure that after that you go to the heavenly planets. No, and also to guarantee that your father go, your grandfather go. That's why you have this kind of Vedic religion of ritual and family. This is, and if we study several religions all around the world, most of religions start with that. All these kind of familiar rituals and the worship of the different forces of nature. But all this kind of religion is based in a misunderstanding. Of course, we cannot condemn this kind of religion because it's important. Because Krishna explained in the Bhagavad Gita that in the beginning of the creation, He sent together with the human beings, the demigods and the sacrifice. Because the beginning of human life is when you understand that human beings, they're not like animals. Hara, nidra, bhayamai, tunashat, shamana, etat pasubinarana. Because if you just think on the point of eating, sleeping, defending, or marrying, the human beings and all the animals, they are the same. But what makes the human being different from the animals, that this human life is not only for all these four material activities. The human life is to follow, to understand dharma. Human beings, we can say that you are a human being not only because you have two legs. Because you follow dharma, you understand dharma. You understand that this material world has some rules, have some order. The Rita, the Vedic Rita means there's some kind of, and you understand and you follow it. And this, we begin human life. But human life should not be stopped on that. Because if you stop that, you become bound by the eternal cycle of birth and death, samsara. That's why we don't condemn religion. Because that is needed for otherwise people will be only like animals. If they don't follow religion, if they don't follow the laws of God, if they don't follow the ethical, the religious principles. This is very important for us to follow all this duty. We need to worship our father, our mother, the king, the Brahmin. We need to worship different principles of authority because we forgot the position of God. And by the process of dharma, by the process of religious principles, we understand that we need to live, and the living in this world is to remember that there is a superiority of God and we are all His servants. That's why we accept our father, our mother as God, we accept the guest as God, we accept the Guru as God, because we cannot, in our present stage of conditional life, we cannot see God because we think we are God. But then we start to respect. You follow this and then you get purified. Because we follow Dharma, we can elevate ourselves from the inferior mode of passion and ignorance, tamas and rajas, and comes to the point of sattva. Because our mind becomes purified by all these principles, and then we're able to look for spiritual knowledge. And then we say that, like Vedanta has explained, atato brahma jigyas. Now that we really become human beings, means become religious. Now that we come to this point of being human beings, now it's time to inquire about the real nature of the soul, the real nature of the spirit, the real nature Brahma Gyagasa. And this point, then you have this kind of, this class of people, they are sage, the sadhus. They have understanding that I'm not this body. This is called Brahman realization. Brahman realization means to understand that I'm not this body, and because that I should not waste my life only accumulating pious or impious activity that will make I take birth on the hell and in heaven. But all this is temporary. Now I understand that I'm a spiritual soul, part and parcel of God. Then Aham Brahmasmi. And this understanding make you become peaceful. When you come beyond the dualities of the material existence, like Krishna explained in the Bhagavad Gita, matra sparsastu kautaya sitoshna shukha dukkada agama pa ayonitya stanti tiksha sabha nahi vyatayantiti purusha shabasama dukkha sukha dira somritatvaya kalpati. Means to become self-realized. To understand the being means that you're not more affected by the dualities of the material world, suffering, pleasure, heat, cold. This is not a fact. You can be situated on the spiritual platform. To be situated in the spiritual form of understanding that I'm a spiritual soul, I'm an eternal soul. This brings happiness. And this kind of happiness that this verse of the Bhagavatam say that the siddhas, they are beings who come to realize their own nature, and that's why they're happy, they're situated on Ananda, bliss. But Prabhupada, here in the purport, he said that this Siddha, they're not only Jnanis who realize the being, but they also realize the position of Lord Krishna. That's why we have two kinds of happiness that the Siddhas is situated. You have the Brahmananda, and then you have the Premananda. If the Siddha, if you are the perfect mystic, he's a devotee, he's situated in the Premananda, the bliss of his relationship with Krishna, with God. Of course, the Jnanis, yogis, they also are situated in some kind of bliss. But his bliss is called Brahmananda, is the bliss, is the happiness of understanding that I'm not this body. And the suffering of the body will not affect me because I'm spiritual soul, eternal spiritual soul. But if you compare the happiness of realizing the self with the happiness of realizing your relationship with Krishna, of bhakti, of love, it's like the water that is in the hole of a calf feet and water in the ocean. And in this verse, we will understand by Prabhupada explaining that Krishna consciousness is a perfect process. Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga, is the synthesis of all the religious and mystical process. We can see that there are three kinds of beings who are looking for spiritual knowledge. The first one is the karmis. They want to follow, and that kind of being, that was the business of Daksha. You can see that in this part of the Bhagavatam had a conflict between the followers of Daksha and the followers of Lord Shiva. Usually the followers of Lord Shiva, they are Jnanis. They are impersonalists. Like Lord Shiva, he is one manifestation of Krishna. And we can see that Krishna is beyond everything, even Lord Vishnu, but Shiva is inside everything. Krishna is the power of Krishna, a skala that makes all the material nature to work and to develop. And Lord Shiva, he have a function here. And Lord Shiva he gives shelter to the people who had give up their body. Like the Bhutas, Pretas, and the ghosts, the ghostly beings. When you take off prematurely your life, like a suicide, you are not able to take birth. You need to be in a body of a ghost. I say that Lord Shiva give shelter to this person to purify them. And like he give shelter to the suicides who give up his body, he also gives shelter to the suicide who give up the individual nature of the soul. That's what's happening in the process of impersonal realization, that you understand that you are part of a God, but you give up your own individuality, and that's why you cannot have a relationship with God. It's like the process of turning away the dirt water from the bath of the babe together with the baby. No. Like you wash your baby, and then you turn the water, but you turn the baby together. The Mayavadis and the impersonalists, they purify their consciousness, taking off all the contamination of the ego. The material contamination, they take off, but then the personality of the soul goes together. And they don't have any, there's not anything to have a personal relationship with God. In this sense, these people, even that they're situated in a position of some happiness, but their happiness is not spiritual full happiness. It's the happiness of not being suffering in the material world. Like if you have a hammer and you kick your finger a lot of time. It's very painful, not? Who have this experience of hitting the finger? It's very painful, yeah? But you start hitting your feet because you say, no, I will stop. And then you stop. What happened when you stop? This is happiness. Just stop to suffering the material existence. This is not the full happiness of the soul. To be situated in the perfect position of happiness, Brahman, Premananda, you need to cultivate one relationship with God. Because love is a personal thing and need to have one relation, it needs to be cultivated. And in this sense, we can see that these two kinds of being that I explained, like the follower of Daksha, they think their happiness will come to go to the heavenly planets. Enjoy there, but there you only go to the heavenly planet if you do pious activity, but you cannot stay there until you can only stay in the heavenly planet until your credit karma is positive. You know credit karma? You have your credit card yet, but then you have a credit karma. You have an accumulation of good karma that keep you in the heavenly planet. But then when this karma goes away, you come back. And this is a very difficult process. You can see that a big part of the Vedas, like Brahma, the Samhitas and the Brahmana, they're concerned with all these rituals. And then you have, in India, even until alive, you have this big tradition of the Smarta tradition that use these rituals. But then you have the one who is, they're looking for like I say that, the followers of Shiva. And this kind of, they give up their individual, because they say, what give us suffering? What give us pain? What causes, what is the cause of the material existence is our desire. What makes us suffer in this material world is our desire, is our attachment. And that, for you to be happy, you cannot have a desire. You cannot have any attachment. You only need to be. And when you come to this point of being, you understand that you and God are the same. And then they become happy. But even this kind of happiness is not full. Because they come to the statement. The Jnanis say, this material world is perfect. You only need to know how to do the thing perfect. And then you'll be happy. If you follow all the rituals, if you follow all the rules of the Vedas, you will be happy. That they think this is eternal, but it's not eternal. Comes to the end. And then you have the person, this is use it. And they say, then you have another person. And the Jnanis, all this is Maya. All this is temporary. I should not have any attachment. I should have any relationship, any desire. I need only to be and be happy. Only. Mostly of the Lord Shiva, devotees, followers, they are being attracted by this kind of knowledge. Lord Shiva, as a devata, as a demigod who works in this creation, he is in charge of the principle of ahankara, the ego. That's why the yogis worship Shiva, for they destroy their ego and become one with God. And you can see these two kinds, they are fighting. You can see the big fight that was happening here. But now in this verse, Prabhupada is saying that the Siddhas, the one who is beyond this, the perfect being, they're beyond these two kinds of misconception. They're really situated in the real nature of the soul. They understand that something is beyond that. Something is make a complete synthesis of these two kinds of knowledge. What the Karma Kanda part of the Veda, the rituals, have to offer us to learn. What we should learn that? We should learn like the different sages, the different demigods, and the different rituals is all to teach us that Jagya Vai Vishnu, that Lord Vishnu, He is the goal of all these rituals. And when you start to see the ritual, not to give us any kind of material enjoyment back, but to praise Lord Krishna, to praise Lord Vishnu, and then you start to the point of bhakti. Like Rupa Goswami said, the devotional service who is done without any kind of personal consideration, that devotional service that is done only with the intention of worshiping Krishna, of pleasing Krishna, and that's not contaminated by karma and also by jnana. This means that you do devotional service not to get anything back on this material world. And jnana means that you don't worship Krishna only to get free from this material existence. Because the goal of jnana is moksha, like the devotee, pure devotee. He don't want to elevate in material position in this material world. And he also don't want to get free from the material existence. Because what is the difference? Like Lord Shiva has explained to Devi at the position of the Vaishnava. Narayana parat sarvena kutastana bhidaji swarga pavarga narakeshua pitulya sama darshana. For the devotee, they see the same. To be in the hell, to be in the heavenly planet, and to be liberated is the same. If I can engage in Krishna service, if I can meditate on the Krishna. And in this sense, we see that Krishna consciousness, it is explained in Bhagavad Gita. You can see that even the people who engage in karma activities, ritual activity, they think they are bhaktas. And even the jnanis, they also engage in some kind of bhakti. But there is two kinds of bhakti. Lower bhakti and para bhakti, and higher bhakti. What is the difference? In the Bhagavad Gita, if we study very nicely the Bhagavad Gita, we understand that. That kind of bhakti that's being polluted by the inferior mode of nature, Raja, Tamas, and Sattva. And we can see that we can worship on the mode of natures. And then we can worship the ghost and the demigod. Because when you offer different kind of beings, it's because we are being attracted because our mind is contaminated by tamas and rajas, and then we look beings on that nature. But that devotional service, that is based in knowledge. That's why the Mayavadis, they interpret Bhagavad Gita and say Bhagavad Gita teach Gyan. But it's not wrong. The Parabhakti of Bhagavad Gita is the Gyan part of Bhagavad Gita. Because it's said that 4 kinds of person approach Krishna. The first person is that is the one who have some material need. And the second kind is the one who is frustrated, completely frustrated material existence. And the other is the curious. And then you have the Jnani. I'd say that the Jnani is higher. But what means Jnana in the Bhagavad Gita? Jnana means, first, understand that I'm not this body. I'm a spiritual soul. I'm a part and parcel of God. Everything is part of God, and I'm part of God. And secondly, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what means Jnana. Janmanam Jnanam Avante. After births and births, the person comes to the turn. Vasudeva Sarvam. Vasudeva, Krishna is everything. And we are part of it. And then when we have this understanding, then we start to do bhakti without material desires. And then this bhakti put ourselves in the position of Sharana Pati, Sharana Gati, surrender to Krishna. Sarva Dharma Parichacha. Mammekam Saranam Vaja, Ahantvam Sarvapapiva, Moksha Shami Masucha. Just give up everything, just take shelter of me. I will protect you from all the reaction of you stop you karma rituals and you so-called yogi. Because usually people, they think that they should do all these things and then bhakti. And bhakti become really completely mixed up. We don't have any kind of determination. And that's why you should understand that a perfect being, a perfect yogi, is that one that realizes the self and beyond the self realizes the position of Krishna and his position of Krishna. That means the position of the Siddha that is plain in this verse. Is that right? Well, I can stop at this point. If you have some kind of question, we can... Yes?
Haribol.
I'm not hearing.
Here in the last line of the translation,
Yeah.
it said that they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the Absolute. What we hear in the Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami saying that the bliss derived from the pure devotional service or relishing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord is trillion-fold or trillion times more blissful or relishable than merging in the absolute truth. But here it said that, it says that which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute. Here the statement is made, it makes us feel that it's almost same. The bliss derived from the absolute truth, merging in the absolute truth, and the bliss derived by relishing the pastimes of the Lord. It appears that from this translation, it appears that same.
Just what you asking for?
What I'm trying to say is that here it's said, the last line of the translation, they desire never to leave such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute. The translation.
Last line.
Yeah, last 2 lines.
Krishna consciousness is itself complete.
No, in the translation.
Translation. Sorry. The Lord always merge in the nectar river, all of it, and they desire to live such transcendental bliss, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the absolute. Yes, that's what I was explaining about when I explained about Paremananda and Brahmananda. Understand? Both, they have this kind of Because people who is being contaminated, they have a misunderstanding of Bhakti Yoga because they learn about Bhakti from Mayavadi, from impersonal interpretation. And they think that what the Bhakta do, because the Bhakta use his own sense to relation with God. They think this is material. The Jnanis, they are wrong in this understanding of spiritual life. For them, the spiritual life is just negation of all material variety. But all the variety of this material world is a reflection of the spiritual variety. But when we engage in Krishna consciousness, in pure bhakti, looks like we are doing the same as the karmis. But the karmi, they are using his sense for egoistic enjoyment. But the devotee, Rishikena, Bhakti Ruchate, Bhakti is the definition of Bhakti is to use the sense, to use the body at the service of Rishikesha, the Lord of the sense. And that's why the happiness of pure devotional service is a spiritual happiness. The same way that the happiness of merging in Krishna is also a spiritual happiness. That's why I say it's as good as that. Means that the happiness of the devotee is not material happiness. The Jnani, they cannot understand because they think that spiritual is no material. But our mind can only understand material concept. But the problem in the Krishna consciousness is not to be attached. The problem in Krishna consciousness is not to have a desire. The problem is that who is the object of your desire, of your attachment? If the object is eternal, Krishna is eternal, all relationship is eternal, this is not a problem. Understand? We should be attached. The devotional service, when bhakti grows from Shraddha, faith, to sadhusanga, association with devotees, and then devotional practice of devotional service, and then anartha nivritti, purification, you come to the point of nishtha to become fixed up, and then you start develop ruchi. Then you have taste. It's not impersonal thing on the spiritual life. And then when taste grow more, because you have attached, and then you have a sakti, you have attachment. And you can see that anything that you find in this material world, that is maya, that is illusory. Because it does not have a relationship with Krishna. Bhakti means the process of connecting everything to God in this life. That's why the devotee don't need to give up material pleasure to feel spiritual pleasure. When he engages in Krishna consciousness, the happiness of bhakti is on the same level of this impersonal Brahmananda realization. That's what this verse is saying.
This last line of this translation, like it says, which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the Absolute. So instead of saying that, why doesn't the translation say that which is more blissful, trillion times more blissful than merging in the Absolute Truth? So instead of saying that, why does it say which is as good as the pleasure of merging in the Absolute Truth?
Because this is not the context of the verse. He's not explaining very deeply. No. Sometimes you come to one conclusion of impersonal knowledge. But that is not that impersonal knowledge is wrong. It's a partial knowledge. You need to go beyond that. Understand? You cannot just take some part of the Shastras or the Bhagavatam and have this knowledge. You cannot. This is a role of interpretation. that you cannot interpret, you cannot give any interpretation in any word, in any verse, without referring to the context that it's being said at. Understand? But the context is still is not teaching of pure bhakti. Sorry.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.
You explained very nicely. Brahma Sampanna. Brahma Sampanna.
Yes.
So this word is like in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati.
Yes.
So you rightly said that these siddhas are in the association of these karmis, those who are full of desires and hatred. So that is why they are equating this this bliss of bhakti with this impersonal Brahman. So you are right in the association, because these people cannot understand the highness, the higher level of bliss. So they are saying. And one thing I am thinking that very nice comparison is there. That the elephant, when they are in the forest and the forest catches fire, so the elephant goes to the river. And he feels very safe, he feels very satisfied in the river. In the same way, Srila Prabhupada also has created this river of Krishna consciousness,
Yes.
Krishna Katha. So Prabhupada has also given the rule of Bhagavatam class. So we are also like elephants who have come in this river of Krishna Katha.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada has created this river all over the world.
Yeah.
So Prabhupada is savior of the whole world.
Yes.
Hari Bol.
Haribo. Yeah, and this point of impersonal realization is very important, because this is a practical. Bhakti Yoga, when you become a pure devotee, to be self-realized is the first, like Prabhupada said in the Beyond Birth and Death, the first step in spiritual life is to understand that I'm not this body, I'm a spiritual soul. This is Brahman realization. We should see this Brahman realization practically in our life. We're attached to this body, means that we didn't realize that. We should not, a devotee, when they understand, I'm not this body, I'm a spiritual soul, and then this complete conviction makes you come to the point of bhakti. Then you go beyond that. Hare Krishna.
Another point is Siddha. Here is the word Siddha. So this Siddhas, Prabhupada translates who have got these mystic powers.
Yes.
Another meaning is Siddha. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur translates Siddhas. They have got the highest perfection of Krishna Prem.
Yes.
So they are that kind of Siddhas. They have perfected Krishna Prem. So they are Prem Siddhas. In love of Godhead, they have attained the perfection.
Yes. And this, like the verse said, what is that bliss that can be compared with Brahman spiritual realization? To hear in the pastime of Lord. That's Krishna Katha, right?
Prabhuji, you said that we are not this body, but so this means that we should not take bath and we should not do anything for our body. So this means that we should don't take care of this body. And
well, in the beginning, we want to get liberated because we're so much full of material desire that we say, oh, Krishna, I don't want to take birth again here. That's not wrong. But this means that you is still on the very, the beginning of bhakti. Because the devotee, when he understands, when he have his relationship with Krishna, when he develop it, he don't want even to get liberated, because what's the use of getting liberated because you forget Krishna? Like, to be Krishna consciousness in this life is beyond liberation. When you are a neophyte, and you are full of attachment, you say, oh Krishna, please, let me be free of this. This is the beginning. But you won't be free if you don't experience the higher taste. Krishna conscious is not just to give up material desire. Krishna conscious means to have the higher taste of spiritual desire. Then you can fix up. Then don't matter if you are here or not, because if you are Krishna conscious, the blissful of being serving the Lord, don't make you, like Lord Chaitanya said, that you, I don't want to take birth here several times, but I want to serve. That's beyond liberation. In the beginning, we should ask to be free. Otherwise, we'll get contaminated. But we need to, oh Krishna, please, or Radharani, please, my mother of love, please, let me feel this kind of satisfaction. Let me be completely satisfied in your service. If you have this mature Krishna consciousness, the Maya of the world will not affect you, because you are situated in a higher taste. That's why we should be very serious in full all the sadhana bhakti rules. But the sadhana bhakti rule is not the goal. The goal that you come to the point of spontaneously engaging in devotional service. That's a mature kind of Krishna consciousness. We should not be accommodated. Oh, I am a devotee, I have faith in Krishna, I'm saved. And stop on that. And sometime it will happen that you lost this faith and then you go and fall down again. We should develop a very intense raga, an intense passion to serve Krishna, to serve the Guru, to serve Srila Prabhupada, to serve Guru Maharaj in his mission, this passion to engage in devotional service. That will make you develop. If you waste your time and don't develop this kind of passion, of desire, and be sure that only your faith that Krishna is God will not keep you for so long on spiritual life. Because Maya, she's a very good devotee of Krishna. And she's a big Sankirtan lady. And her Sankirtan is to attract everyone to illusion. She's doing her service she wants to test our love for Krishna. If our love is real, it only is a fake. That's why she's always offering. And how will you be free from Maya? Maya will only attract you if your material desire don't disappear, because the spiritual desire start growing. The spiritual desire should grow and grow and grow, and then you can't hear the material desire. That's the point. Is that right? I think that's be enough for today. All glories to Srila Prabhupada
की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, लोकसाक्षी प्रभु की जय. हरे कृष्णा. एक सूचना है, भक्तों का जो प्रसाद होगा प्रसादम हॉल में, वो 9:45 बजे से होगा.